Preview.
Welcome, guys, to the Peak Mindset Show. My name is Mathew Park, and our aim is to inspire and motivate you through the learning from the masters in business, athletics, and in life. And today we have a special guest, six-time best-selling New York Times author and real estate beast. This epic husband to Joleen and power dad to Brody and Breana has appeared everywhere on national TV for over a decade, including American TV for 15 years. He is a very successful and highly respected businessman, entrepreneur, and inspirational speaker, crushing the stage with guys like Tony Robbins, Joe Polish, and many more. Dean's company, GBB Enterprises, manages and flips hundreds of real estate deals every year, which makes him a world leader in real estate and success. What separates Dean is that he truly cares. He is someone from the heart, a family man, someone who will go the extra mile. For today, though, I want to refer to him as the people's champion in life and business. If you haven't read his book, guys, his best-selling book, the one that I've eaten for breakfast literally every single morning, it's called the Millionaire Success Habits. Guys, check it behind me in my screen on my left-hand side. If you haven't already, guys, pause it for a second, go to the link, dean.mshbook.com/betterlifebook, and grab your copy today, guys. With great pleasure, I want to welcome to the show the one and only Dean Graziosi.
Thanks, man. Hey, that guy sounds pretty good. You just introed, so no,
Are you blushing?
No, good stuff. Which I think I'm blushing a little bit. Yeah, no. Good stuff, man. Well, it's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on the show, Dean. You know, you've always been someone that's been in this industry for decades, met with the greatest minds in the world, and obviously seen and done it all, everywhere from the beginning of your life when you were like 13 years old and moved 20 times before the age of 19, I believe.
Yeah, true story.
Like unreal beginning. So can you just share a bit of your personal so you can relate to where you were starting to like where you are today?
Yeah, so, I'll relate it just enough, or I'll share enough about my story to let everybody know it doesn't matter where you are in your evolution of life. Like what I hope to do today is serve and deliver stuff that if you're listening or watching, you can take away and implement in your life. It's great to talk about my book, great to talk about what I've done, but this is about you guys. If you're going to take the time to be a doer, to actually listen and to absorb knowledge and wisdom and probably put this stuff into action, then I want to serve. So I'll only talk about my stuff enough so you know that I can relate to wherever you are in your life. You know, I've been broker than broke and lived with my dad in a bathroom for a year of my life. We got evicted from my mom's trailer park when I was a kid. So I've been that broke kid with nothing and lunch money, some days just wasn't there. And I tell my friends I wasn't hungry. Didn't graduate, didn't go past high school, didn't have good grades, had dyslexia, and just figured, that was my lot in life. I was going to be a mechanic and maybe make $1,000 a week. And I was lucky enough to realize that some principles some of them which I want to share today, that I was grading myself and the world was kind of grading me with an outdated scorecard just because I wasn't great at reading and I didn't have money and I didn't have the pedigree and I didn't come from a well-to-do or super successful family. I think I was feeling judged and I was letting that be who I was until one day that shifted. And when I realized that the hell with your weaknesses and the things that are wrong in your life, start working on your strengths, be amazing at what your strengths, and just a couple of things can carry you. If I look back through my evolution, there's only a couple things I'm really good at, and I just didn't get really good. I got amazing at a couple of things, and I was able to pay people or figure out ways to get the other shit done without, trying to figure it out. So when I say I've been everywhere, through every evolution, I know what it's like to want to make $1,000 a week and get there and go to a 6-figure business and a 7-figure business and an 8-figure business and keep evolving. I've had, a years where my brand and industry did over $200 million. So in a year, so I know the whole evolution. So hopefully when we share today, you realize that I'm not speaking from this place of, I got it it all now. Life is easy. I still remember all of it vividly. It's what pushes me. It's what drives me. It's what makes me get up at 5 o'clock every morning and work out. I read a book every 9 days in a personal growth, personal development, success every 9 days. I've been along this journey, and hopefully today we can deliver some stuff that you could take away. And the last thing, I just won't keep ranting here. I'll let you get to some questions. When you listen to something like this, because there's so much information in today's world, with social media and text messages and Instagram and Snap and Facebook, there's a million things out there. So when you listen or watch, and you're doing an amazing job, I love what you do, man. So keep up the good work. When you listen to something like this, we can't take it all in. It's impossible. It motivates for a moment and then you throw it away. So here's how I want you to listen today. Take what serves you and use it. Put it in action today and throw the rest of the shit away. You don't have to do everything we talk about. Just take one thing and implement it in your life today, now, in this moment, and it'll stick. So let's go from there.
You can just tell that the passion you exude is insane. Okay, so one thing you talk about in your book is the 7 layers of why, 7 layers deep. And you can just tell the way you talk is just, I love it. It's so freaking passionate. So
thank you.
Why deep?
So that's really cool. So, knowing your purpose and knowing your why, it's been around forever. Knowing your why is a little outdated. It's a little overused right now. But I found a way to dig into that so it actually means something in your life. So think about this. You do these incredible interviews. You've obviously read a lot of great books. There's been personal development, personal growth, success books since day one. Old school, Dale Carnegie, Earl Nightingale, all the way through Tony, which is amazing. All this great stuff. So what I'd suggest to anybody is it's all amazing, but you have to listen to someone where it sticks to your ribs. I love how you say you eat my book for breakfast every day. So that means the way I communicate allowed it to stick where you're actually implementing it, right? If my structure or the way I flow didn't work for you, then it would have been a good read, but not something you digest every day. So what I tried to do, because I had dyslexia, because I wasn't the smartest kid in the world, everything I do, I try to create like simple recipes. Like if you want to make the best spaghetti and meatballs in the world, you could go to culinary school, you go to Italy and study, you could try a gazillion recipes. You keep testing until it tastes good, or you go to your favorite Italian restaurant, you give the chef $100 on a Sunday when he's tired and he gives you the recipe, you go home, you make it, you got perfect meatballs. So the way I look at writing books or anything I approach is how do I create a recipe that you go, oh, I just follow the recipe and I get results. So with the 7 levels deep, I got to tell you the story real quick for those of you who haven't read the book. About 8 years ago, I hired a consultant for about 10 grand for the day to help me get more of my students to engage, right? You can read my book, but if you don't do something, it's useless. It's a good read. You leave it in the bathroom, right? So he comes in and he asked me if I'd ever done the 7 levels deep. And I said, no. I said, give it to me. He said, I want to go through it. And basically it's this in a nutshell. I'll go fast. If I said to everybody listening or watching right now, why would you like to make more money or be more successful? You might come up with an answer from your head, which is a great answer, that I want more freedom. I want to be in control of my life, more time for myself, more time for my family. All good answers. Whatever that answer is, another time you want to replay this and listen again, write that down. Why are you here? Why are you listening right now? Do you want to be more successful, happier, more joy, more money, be better at what you do? So when you write that down, just ask yourself 7 times the same question with the answer in. So if I said, hey, why do you want to be successful? And he said, well, I want to make more money to be in control of my life. Okay. So why do you want to be in control of your life? Well, I don't want X, Y, Z. I want to spend more time or be a better husband or be a better father or start a new relationship, whatever it is. And you just keep going. Here's what I know. If you ask yourself that question 7 times, about the 5th time you ask that question, you leave here, you leave your thoughts, you leave your programming, and it goes from your head to your heart. And every time I did this for 5 years straight on stage, I'd pull somebody out of stage every single month. And every month I'd watch this transition. I'd watch their physiology change. I'd watch their voice pattern change. I'd watch tears pour out of their eyes. When I did it, tears pour out of my face. So in mine, so going through mine, he asked me why I hired him. I said, I want to create a business on a whole nother level. I want to set a new standard in this industry. He said, why is that important? I said, I want to set a legacy for my family. Why is that important? And I was sharing all these great stuff out of my head. And then I got to about the 5th question and I felt my whole body change. And I said, I don't ever want to go backwards.
Wow.
I was broke as a kid. My parents dropped me off down the street so kids wouldn't make fun of my car with plastic in the back window that was busted out, right? And I felt that and it hit my soul and I started getting emotional. And he said, well, Dean, why is it important you don't go backwards? And I started thinking about my kids and the tears came out. And I said, I want my kids to have choices. Now, I'm saying this about me, but everybody listening right now, it's about you. So start thinking about this, your version of what I'm saying, right? So I said, I don't want to go backwards. And then I said, I want my kids to be in control. I don't want to raise two entitled brats. That's not the thing. I just want them to have choices, right? So then he said, I'm just tearing. I'm thinking, that's it. That's why I work so hard. He said, Dean, but you were successful before your kids. So the seventh question was, why is it important that your kids have choices? And I thought, and it just hit me. And I realized why I started cutting firewood in high school and fixing wrecked cars in high school. And because I wanted to be in control of my life. I just wanted to be in control. When you said earlier, it's true. My parents were married 9 times between them. I moved 20 times by the time I was 20 years old. I'd get new stepbrothers, stepsisters. I'd live in a cul-de-sac and have to move. Get a new stepdad, get a new stepmom, stepbrother, and then move. New school, move. Every time I felt comfortable, I'd get ripped out of it. And I realized for me, I don't know about you, I have goosebumps saying this right now, but it's a true story. For me, I want to be in complete control. I don't want anybody to tell me where to live, how to dress, how to talk, what I do for a living. I don't want anybody to tell me when I can go to my kid's baseball game and coach Little League and coach softball or go to a dance recital or do whatever the hell I want when I want to do it, talk the way I want and be the man I want to be. Doesn't make it right. I just want to be my way. I'm not a control freak. So when I realized that I want to be in control, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do, those became my why. So the reason it's important, we all want more shit. We all want another level. We all want more happiness. We all want more something, right? Yeah. But your life kicks your ass. So when things go wrong, the new business doesn't work, you compete and you lose. You try the new business and your partner screws you over and takes the money. Those things happen. There's nothing you can do about it. What pushes you past the crap is not that you want financial freedom, not that you want your own business. When I have a tough day, if I said, I want to create a legacy for my kids, that's pretty good. But when I have a tough day and I say, I am never going backwards. My kids are going to have choices and I'm in freaking control of my life. Nothing gets in my way. I'll bulldoze a building down. I'll lift Mount Everest because it's attached to my heart. So I talked about me a lot, but I'm sharing that with you. If you went through those 7 levels, you're listening right now. Why the hell do you want more? It's not the money specifically. It's the byproduct the money will give you. It's the byproduct, the success of it. Will you finally feel loved? Did your parents not love you enough? I had people come up on stage and just start crying with the last question, said, I was never good enough for my dad. Damn it, I'm going to show him. Doesn't matter what it is. Get emotional, get disturbed, and use that as your gasoline.
So when you find your why, that deep why you were just talking about, do you attach your why to your vision?
Absolutely.
And basically so, there's a vision and a collaboration?
Yeah, what a great question, because it's true. Because listening right now, if I asked you, and I think you should do this as a test this week, I've done it with thousands of people. Ask 10 people this week what they don't want out of life. Just walk up, you have a buddy or sit and talk and say, man, what's bugging you? What don't you want in life? And watch how people vomit up answers in a second. I don't want this crap. My wife's a pain in the butt. My girlfriend, my friend, my boyfriend, my job, my this, my that. And while they're sharing, and it's like a recorder, they know it. Most people, 9 out of 10, I've done this with thousands of people, you'll see, try to prove me wrong, will vomit up all these things they don't want and stop them abruptly and say, oh, you know what, what is it that you do want? And most people, 9 out of 10 will say, that's a really good question. Or, let me think about that. So I want you to think about that. We are driving around like Ferraris 150 miles an hour with no GPS. And all you know is what you don't want to hit. You're avoiding the potholes. You're avoiding the tree. What does that do? You're going fast nowhere, right? So what I'd say, and this has been the easiest thing for me, and it's what I wrote in the book, is sometimes it's really hard to set goals. We're freaking busy, man. There's a lot of crap in our lives right now. And technology only allows us to get 5 times as much done in the same period of time. So I look at it like we're the Tasmanian devil on the Roadrunner. I don't know, some viewers might be younger than when the Roadrunner used to be, but while the Tasmanian devil used to spin so fast, there was a dust cloud around him. That's our lives. You can't see through the dust cloud. So here's a little hack. Pretend it's 1 year from today, and we're doing this again. We're all here, and we're celebrating the best year of your life. I mean, shit just went amazing. You feel confident. You feel courage. You look in the mirror and you're like, that's the man, that's the woman I need to be. When you think about it, let's just say your finances. What does that look like in your finances in the best year of your life? What are you doing on a daily basis? How are you feeling on a daily basis? How's your confidence, your courage? How's your intimacy, your passion? Are you on fire? Your testosterone through the roof, or you're feeling sexier than you ever felt in your life? What is that? And when you look backwards, then all of a sudden, that's where you want to go. So that gives you a vision. And if you focus on your vision, you know where you need to point the Ferrari that's going 100 miles an hour. You know, I'll just tell this really quick. A buddy of mine who's partners in a company I own called Growth, he goes on this retreat with his kids and a whole bunch of dads and a bunch of boys, and they're going to go whitewater rafting in Colorado. And I can't think of the town, a little cool town anyway, in Colorado. And I guess it rained for a month prior. I don't know whitewater rafting, but the rapids on a level of 1 through 5 were a 4.5. They were super high. All the dads are nervous. Bunch of 16 to 18-year-old kids who never did this before. But he said the guide comes out, and everybody think about the story. The guide comes out, puts the kids in the boat, and he said, I just want to show everybody we're going to be fine. You just got to listen to me. I've been doing this for 25 years. He said, you see this finger? This is the positive point. He said, when I point, don't question, don't hesitate. You just paddle your guts out in the direction I point, because that's the positive point. He said, I will never point to the down rock or the big rock, or point to the big rapid, or point to the down tree. Because if I point at it for even a second, like don't hit that rock, you'll all look at the rock, and you know what we'll do? We'll all hit the rock and flip over. So when I point, just go in that direction and avoid all the rest. Think about that in life. We're always pointing at what we don't want, and we slam into it. Right. So take the time and create this vision, clarity on where the hell do you want to go definitively. I run into you on the street in a month from now. I go, hey man, what's up? Where do you want to go? You go, oh, this is what I want. I want to be making 150 grand a year. I want to be doing this. I want my gym I want to get a second gym. I want to do X, Y, Z, my company. I want consulting, whatever it is. And then all your energy goes through that. And then you know what to say no to. When someone says they don't have enough time or they're overwhelmed, it's like, no, you just got a clarity problem. You're saying yes to so much crap that doesn't serve your vision. So if you can incorporate a vision that's clear, you start saying no to shit you shouldn't be doing. That opens up time. And then when you hit the roadblock, you go back to your why, and you just got the recipe that 99.9% of the world doesn't have to be successful.
So is there one more piece, Dean, with the power of the story? Because I feel like all this is tying now to the story, because in your book, you talk about that. That was a huge chapter for me.
Yeah.
Because my favorite technique in the entire book, let me show you this quickly, okay? Was this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tale of two pictures. Yeah. Well, I had this literally done the first day I got that darn book.
Dude, that is awesome. You did that. How powerful is that though?
Oh, every day. Before the interview today, I was freaking outside doing my new me. I'm doing that every day for the past 4 months.
That's awesome, dude. Because so what that is in the book, I make people go through this I ask people to go through this little process to create the avatar of the two. We're both two people, right? I mean, everybody listening. Do you wake up some days on fire? Like I can accomplish anything. I can do this shit. I got it. And then you wake up some days and go, oh, this isn't going to work. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, and if that doesn't work, what am I going to do? I started this new company. What if I can't pay the bills? Then could I lose my house? Like you wake up, we're all bipolar. We have these two completely different people. Just let me ask you, who is the more successful one? Who's the one that's more courageous to take action? Who has more confidence to get shit done? And who's scared sitting on the sidelines? No one ever wins sitting on the sidelines. So a lot of the book is subliminally, subconsciously trying to give you the courage and the confidence just to be in that state of mind. Right? Because if you're here, if you know where you are in life and you know where you want to go, a lot of times what's standing between you and where you want to go is the story you tell yourself. There's too many gyms in today's world. There's too many people competing. Facebook is too busy. Direct mail doesn't work. TV doesn't work. I live in too small of a town. I don't have enough education. My wife doesn't support me. My husband's a jackass. We all have this story that stands between where we are and where we want to go. And the more we tell ourselves that story, the more of the hypnotic rhythm we get in that just makes that story who we are. It doesn't become a story anymore. It becomes us. Right. We're the person that's not getting ahead in life because we're not smart enough. We're not. So, go ahead. And I'll tell you how I got to those pictures in a moment.
I have a question, Dave, because, if someone's really had like a shitty story for a long time, and they're just, they're trying this technique, it isn't working. What do they have to do to make this thing like
disprove it?
What's that?
Disprove it. It's a lie.
Oh, okay.
Disprove it. It's a lie, right? Because if you got a story, it takes money to make money. Is that true? I've been blessed to be friends with Richard Branson. The guy quit school in 7th grade, broker than broke. He's a billionaire. Tony Robbins barely got out of high school. The guy's worth $500 million, changing lives all over the world. Half of my friends that I'm blessed to know billionaires and all this kind of shit, and I feel fortunate. I don't drop that to be cool. But they all started with no money. A lot of them have train wreck past. A lot of them have had bankruptcy. A lot of them have wives and her husbands have left them because you're too crazy, you're a dreamer, right? All those things so many people have. So when you have your story, literally Google what you're saying and find successful people. John Paul DiGiorio. Do you know who John Paul is? So I had to John Paul started Paul Mitchell and Patron Tequila.
Yes, got it.
So John Paul, when he's 22 years old, his wife leaves him, hands him the 1-year-old baby, says, I haven't paid the rent in 3 months and you're getting evicted. And she walks out. He's homeless with his 1-year-old picking up cans on the side of the street.
Wow.
And he comes up with the idea to sell hair products. He's going door to door with his kid out in the car. They're living in the car. The guy had no money. He didn't go past high school. He had determination. He had the path on where he wanted to go. And that little kid in his car was his why. Right? So the only reason I say that is not because what happens if you tell your story long enough, you start saying, yeah, but you don't understand what I'm going through. You don't understand my obstacles. But what I want to share with you is we all have shit. We all have crap. Those who make it change the story so they can jump over it, go under it, go around it. The new story is what propels you there. So a lot of the book is giving you the confidence to kill that old story and know that it's a lie. Because let me just tell everybody, I'll tell you this little exercise that you've done, but what happens, you hit the nail on the head. As you evolve, you still slip back. Your old story taps you on the back and goes, oh, see, you're a dreamer. You got sucked into that Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Brendan Bouchard, or somebody telling you that that's your story. You don't even need someone else to tell you. Your own subconscious tells you that because you've been programming yourself for so long. So that's why I did that exercise. And what that exercise is, everybody, is to take the shittiest picture of yourself. One that you're kind of looking fat or dumpy or you're looking down like this, and write down when you're in that shitty state, when you're telling yourself that bad story, take the picture and write the bad story. I'll never make it. It's a podcast or two. There's so many people out there right now. There's so many other trainers. What do you think I could do it? And if I borrow money and it doesn't work, tell yourself all that stuff. And then on the other side, get a picture of yourself when you look the best, you feel the best, your confidence was at a peak, and then tell yourself the other story. I can accomplish anything. If I fail, I'll learn from it. If I need money, I'll find it. If I find an obstacle, I'll break through it. I feel courageous. I feel courage. I'm confident. I'm sexy. I'm passionate, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you have these two visuals of who you are. Your bipolar is right in front of you, and you can look at it and say, which guy, which girl do I want to be today? Which one is going to accomplish my goals and which one is going to sit on the sidelines crying? And that's why I did that exercise. And I think it's so powerful.
Oh, the most powerful technique in the whole book was this technique right here. Like the vision was great. The 7 Deeps was great as well. But this one I have like in my office in this corner every morning. I come here after meditation. I'll do my like 10 minutes of like I call it my craziness because my wife downstairs always laughs because I'm like yelling and screaming. That's great. She's still married to me, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. So it must be working. That's all right, dude.
It's working, man. The other piece to kind of go off of story now is self-worth, because the industry of fitness is a lot of people struggle with their image, or they're good enough, or they're too fat, or they're too skinny, they don't have big enough muscles, or they aren't going to look good in their posing trunks on stage, or not getting the cover of a magazine. How do you deal with the challenge of dealing with that? Is self-worth with the story as well, or how do you work with that?
Yeah, that's a great one we all work on. And it doesn't matter because we all have something we're insecure about. We all have something that, but here's what I would share. That's a really great question. And I would say if you're competing, if you are working your tail off that hard, I can only imagine. I work out 6 days a week and I work my ass off. I don't look anything like that. I eat clean. I take the protein. I kill it in the gym. And I don't look like any of those people that are up on stage, right? So there's 2 things I'd love to share. First of all, there's some insecurity. There's some driving force. You're either moving away from a painful past or you want to move towards a pleasurable future. There's something screwed up in your life or something. that's driving you to be such a badass? If you're listening right now, for you to put that dedication, be courageous, to get up on stage, to work out like a maniac, to say no to the food you want to eat, to say no to go and have cocktails when your friends, when they're going to have fun and you're in training mode and you can't, you're a badass. But what happens is, here's what happens. First of all, whatever that thing you're running from, don't be afraid of it. Let that be the thing you're running from. It drove you here. Use it as power. Just don't let it control you. And secondly, and most times when we feel that way, we're falling into the gap. And let me just share this. This is I got from Dan Sullivan. The gap is basically this. You are comparing yourself to the perfect you, the ideal you. It'll never happen. You're never going to be in the perfect shape and win the competition and have the perfect relationship and the kids are getting treated right and you're balancing home and life work and you're treating your girlfriend with respect, your boyfriend with respect. It's never going to happen. You are never going to be the ideal you. It's like chasing the sunset, the horizon. You're never going to chase the sunset. You can go as fast as you want west and you're not going to catch the sunset. Chasing the ideal you will just put you in the gap. It'll put you in that place where I'm not good enough. I didn't make it. The other thing that'll put you in the gap is comparing yourself to other people. Yeah. You have no right to compare yourself to other people. You don't know what they've done, what they go through, what they work out. Here's how you don't allow yourself to get into the gap. Is instead of looking forward towards the ideal you, which will never happen, it's the freaking horizon, it's the sunset, is you have to turn and look backwards. You have to look at the man or the woman that you are at this moment and how much you've accomplished to get here, to even be on that stage, to be in that competition, to even consider being in it. Look at the body you used to have compared to the body now, the things that your friends and family told you were nuts, the things you said no to, the diets you did, the things you put your body, your brain, your heart, your soul through when everybody else thought you were nuts. You did it. Are you kidding me? You've accomplished so much. Instead of looking forward at the ideal you, look at who you used to be 10 years ago and see who you are now. You want to get courage, look backwards. Take all that positive focus. Look at all, even if you failed and screwed up miserably, you had the balls or you had the nerve to go do it when everybody else sat on the sidelines. You're a freaking badass, but you have to remind yourself. We treat ourselves like the worst friend. You would never treat a friend that way. And here's the last thing I'll say about that. You are $1 million racehorse. So let me just ask you, if you owned $1 million racehorse, would you beat it up if it didn't win the race? Would you feed it crappy food? Would you not pet it and not give it love if it lost the race by a nose? Right? Would you not let it sleep? Would you let it stay up all night stressing? Or if it was $1 million racehorse, win or lose, you'd give it exercise, organic food, you'd take care of it, make sure it got sleep. If it lost the race, you'd hug it and say, it's all right, we could do this. That's how you'd treat $1 million racehorse. That's a freaking horse. You are $1 million racehorse, so treat yourself like you'd treat a damn horse if it was worth, if it was a valuable horse. So those things should, that's the secret to life, right? And if you're disturbed a little bit, that's great. That's momentum, but not to cripple you and get into the gap. We're all going to fall into the gap. Just use those strategies to get out quicker.
After your book was done, Millionaire Success Habits over there, okay?
Yeah.
You have a lot of hacks in there, a lot of techniques and strategies. But I want to ask you, when that book was finished in bookstores, what's one thing you thought, man, I wished I would have put in the book after?
That one is like, it's so relevant and new because I put my heart into that. But I would probably, and I know I talked about this in the book, but I would probably have gone deeper on how powerful your thoughts are. Because that's my new thing right now is I'm obsessing over the last couple of years is how to be the observer and master of my thoughts. Your thoughts are what screw you up. Your thoughts can make you have a great day. Your thoughts can make you have a bad day. Your thoughts can just, we think our thoughts are us when really thoughts are things. Wow. And when you really think about thoughts are things, and thoughts lie to us all the time. If you're watching right now, how many times or listening right now, how many times have your thoughts lied to you? I asked my dad this question about a month ago. He's like, I don't think they do. I'm like, did you ever think a partner screwed you over or a girlfriend when you were younger cheated on you or wasn't loyal to you or didn't give you respect? Did you ever think a customer didn't do X and all of a sudden you're all fired up and, why is she not calling me? Why is she not doing this? And all of a sudden you find out she was busy or he didn't do it. And your thoughts lied to you and ruined a whole day. I just had told this story. I was laughing. I have a buddy of mine named Frank Kern. He's a great marketer, great guy. I was with him over the weekend. And about 7 years ago, I flew to his house to brainstorm on this company I was working on. We were just going to swap masterminding. I do that a lot, and it's so valuable. And I'd suggest that to anybody. Find badasses in your business and share your best strategies. And everybody, the tide rises all boats. So I fly there, and I get there, and I walk in. I could tell he's all distraught. And I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, I can't work today. I'm dating this girl. I'm hanging out with this chick. I'm in love with her, dude. She's hot as hell. She's a bikini model. Like, he's telling me all these things. Dude, she's ripped. Look at these pictures. And plus we have this connection. He's telling me all this stuff. He's like, but dude, I text her. We were texting back and forth. And all of a sudden she just stopped texting today. It's been 2 hours, no reply. I don't know what to say. Then I said a couple things and I think I sound pathetic. So we sat there for like 4 hours. Two copywriters, two marketers, and we're texting the perfect things. I'm like, no, give me that phone. I'll text this. And we go like 4 hours and I'm all distraught. I'm like, sorry, dude. I know you really like this chick. I don't know what's going on. And literally we wasted an entire day. She comes back and she texts back. She's like, Frank, I just ran 10 miles for the first time ever. And I left my phone home. It's the only reason I've been gone. And we ruined the whole day because of but our thoughts lied to us all afternoon. So I just have this obsession now that when shit goes sideways or I feel stressed or angst, I'm like, what thoughts am I telling myself right now that are screwing this up? And like, remember the Minority Report with Tom Cruise? You put the glove on. It's like, just when you can get to sweep that thought away, it's like, it's the fastest way to a confident day.
Wow. So right now you talk about your morning routines a lot in your book,
yep.
Evening routines extensively, but can you tell us this morning, what did you do this morning? You woke up at what time? Did your work? I'm kind of really I love morning routine stuff.
Me too. Game changers.
I want to hear the details, Dean.
You got it. All right. Let me get to. Yeah. No, I won't get too detailed. So let me just tell you. So I wake up at 5 every day. Okay. 5:10, something like that. I set my alarm for 5:10, but it hardly ever goes off. I'm like so programmed now. So what I do, and I would tell everybody, this is one of the biggest game changers for me in the last couple of years of my life. If I stick with it, sometimes I mess it up. If I don't mess it up, which is most of the time, it sets me up for a confident day that's fulfilled and less suffering. And I'll talk about that in a moment. So here's what I'd suggest to everybody: try for a week. At night, when you go to bed, put your phone. I'm looking at mine right here. Hold on one second. I just looked at my routine. When you get up in the morning, let me back up. Sorry. Put your phone on airplane mode at night. The worst thing you can do is roll over in the morning and check your Instagram, check your Facebook, check your emails, check your text messages. Because some days there's great stuff in there. And other days there's stuff in there that makes you a little sideways. Something that makes you even think. And it puts you in that work mode. And that's great because I wake up sometimes inspired. I write stuff down. But if you want to set yourself up for a winning day, put your phone on airplane mode. And here's what I do in the morning. When I wake up, the first thing I do is I think of something that I can be grateful for. Now, everybody knows that. I didn't just tell, you're like, oh, big news, Dean. No, but what I want to share with you is I want you to consider lowering the bar of gratitude, lowering the bar on what you're grateful for. That's a better way to say it, because everybody listening, you wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't a success-oriented person who's already achieved some incredible stuff in your life that you don't give yourself credit for, but you have, right? So what happens is we look for gratitude way up here. Did the business get to 1 million a year? Did I win the competition? What can I be grateful for? Listen, take this in. 150,000 people died today. 150,000 people died yesterday. 150,000 people are going to die tomorrow. Google it. You're not one of them. Right? When you lower that bar, I'm not saying you have to find this massive exercise for a half hour of meditation and gratitude. Most of us don't have time for that. If you can, fantastic. But just put yourself in that frame of mind. I mean, I've woken up and said, what? And I looked around, I'm like, damn, these sheets are comfortable, right? Or this pillow, or I got to sleep all night, or my heart is beating, right? Like find something really low just to trigger your mind. So when I wake up, my phone's on airplane mode, right? Yeah. When I wake up, the first thing I try to do is feed my mind. So it's one thought. Tony's got a great hour of power, 15 minutes to fulfillment, Tony Robbins. I love that. But sometimes I don't have the time for that. So I want to flood myself with some gratitude thoughts. A lot of times I'll just think about my kids. I'll be like, my God, my daughter pitched so good in her game last night. It puts me in that space. So first I feed my brain. Then I get up and I go downstairs. And the first thing I do is feed my body after that. So what I'll do is, for me personally, I use Drew Cannoli, a buddy of mine's, green juice. I love the way it tastes. So I do a scoop of green.
Yeah.
I do a whole lemon.
Yeah.
I do apple cider vinegar. And I do some MCT oil or XCT oil from my buddy Dave Asprey, owns Bulletproof. So so I do the oil, the greens, the lemon, and apple cider vinegar. And for me, I feel like I'm killing acidity. I'm giving my body enough nutrients that I can go work out and kill it without being too full. I'm not good at eating something before. Again, you probably know much better than me, but for me, that gives me energy. So I drink that. And then the next thing I do is move. I get my body working out. So it's easy for this crowd, but most people I say, I can't put off to the afternoon to work out. I just can't. If it's your life, that's different, but I get in a work mode. I get in dad mode. I get in coaching mode. I get in a groove. I don't want to stop the working. So for me, it's feed my mind, feed my body immediately to the gym. Without hesitation, if I turn my phone back off, I start looking at texts, looking at emails, to this day, I will ruin that morning routine. I have to just do that with no interruptions. And for me, I listen to audiobooks. So I double motivate myself. So I inspire myself to work out, because if I'm in a good book, I want to finish the book. And that's when I listen to it. So I listen while I work out. Some days I need music, but most days I can listen to a book. And the other thing too, I don't love working out. In fact, it's a pain in the ass. It is a complete pain. No, it sucks. Working out sucks. Like, if I could just eat what I wanted and not work out, I would not work out. But I love the byproduct of working out, right? Yeah. I love the way I feel. But for me, I attached a why to my workouts. My why is that my kids are 8 and 10, and they don't have to someday figure out how to work out. That's what dad does. That's what mom does. That's what our family does. Our family eats healthy. Our family works out. That's just it's who they are. So for me, when I don't feel like going, I want my kids to see dad as a 48-year-old badass who's in the gym doing his stuff, right? So that inspires me to go. So then I come back. For me, I turn my phone on and I do my kid routine. You guys have your own things, but for me, I love cooking breakfast for my kids. We have this cool morning thing, and we all hang out. We all talk about our day. We do this cool shit. But then I'll share one more thing that could be a game changer for you. If you think through the eyes of 150,000 people died today, if you think through the eyes of, like, I'll be driving down the road in the summer here in Phoenix. It's ridiculously hot. It's not kind of hot. It's just stupid hot. And I'll drive by and see somebody doing a roof in the middle of 115 degree weather, or digging a ditch on the side of the road. Man, they have to do that. They're paying for their family. And so it makes me, and I'm not perfect at this either. Please don't think I got this stuff all figured out, but it makes me think of what I get to do that day, right? Someday I don't like doing conference calls. But man, I get to do conference calls. And because of conference calls, because of certain things that I do, I don't like going through accounting. I hate spreadsheets. That's not the way my brain works. It seems like clutter to me. I can look at a marketing campaign and see it clearly, but not. But I get to do that stuff. And the byproduct is I get to live the life I want, how I want, when I want, and it serves my why, right? We were talking about the why. So if you can do a morning routine, a version of that's your own, and then make a list of what you get to do, it's just a complete way to change the day, to hit the day with confidence rather than, oh shit, I got to do all this stuff today. It's like, no, I get to do this shit. Bring it on, man. Bring it on.
When you weight train, is it at home, Dean, or at the gym?
Both. I have a home gym that I love. And if I get bored with the home gym, I go to the gym. And tomorrow morning, I'll probably go do spin. I got to mix it up a little. I'm getting a little bored with my cardio. So I think I'm going to start spin.
We're going to do a weight training workout. I'm definitely going to kick your butt with some weights one of these days if we have.
Let's do it. I'm in. I'm totally in, bro. I'm totally in.
You might not move for 7 days, but I'm sure your wife can give you a massage.
Yeah, that's right. We'll work it out.
So we got the peak 5 questions, Dean. Okay. Peak 5 of this. Number 1, do you have someone right now, like a mentor or a coach or someone in your past who was a big influence to you that was a contributor to where you are today in your life right now?
I have to say, besides my grandmother was a big influence, but I would say someone in my life that inspires big time is Tony Robbins. His courses and tapes affected my life 15 years ago. I mean, I was already in business, already doing well, but they just took my thinking to another level. And now he's one of my best friends. We talk every single week. I'm going to his house next week. But he's still a massive impact. It makes a massive impact on my life just because his message just resonates with me. And it resonates with a lot of people. I'm not owning that, but it resonates with me. And it's cool that we're great friends now. And still, as we're friends and we treat each other as equals, I'm still around him sometimes. And I feel like a giddy little kid because he was the guy that made a massive impact in my life. And now we're playing squash in his basement. You know what I mean? So but Tony made a massive impact on my life. There's lots of them. I have so many, but he's one that comes to top of mind.
Is Dan one of them as well, Dan Sullivan?
Yeah, for sure. Dan Sullivan's great. Dan Sullivan owns Strategic Coach. I mean, he's the one that helped me really figure out free days.
Gotcha.
Meaning that you need to recharge. Because of Dan Sullivan and Strategic Coach, I stopped working weekends, 8 years ago.
Wow.
So,
wow. When you're 40 and turning into a younger, more wise guy, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, exactly.
Number 2, Dean, what is your most influential book, not favorite book, influential book that made an impact in your life the most?
Oh man, there's so many good ones.
Think of impact.
I would say right now, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
Oh, interesting. I never read that book yet. Okay.
Oh, dude. Game changer.
I'm going to read that one.
It's what got me in this whole thought process of suffer less and be the observer of your thoughts. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, great book. You probably read it. Mm-hmm. But Michael Singer takes it a different approach. And plus he's a really successful businessman. And he just his next book, if you read that, you'll want to read The Surrender Experiment, which is his next book after it. So go through The Untethered Soul, then do The Surrender Experiment. Believe me, you'll be texting me and saying thanks. It's good.
I love it. Number 3, what is your most influential quote?
Influential, one that I've done or one that I like?
One that really empowers and impacts you the most.
Well, one that was sitting on my desk for, I don't know, it's not there now, but it was there for like 15 years, was Winston Churchill's, the definition of success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm.
Ooh, I like that. That's a really, really good one.
Yeah.
Number 4, Dean, if you could look at your 20-year-old self, so 28 years ago, because you're 48, correct?
Yep.
What's one lesson or thing you would tell yourself at that time at 20 that you tell yourself at that time?
Your thoughts lie to you.
Ah, interesting. That's when you were still moving a lot, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah, your thoughts lie to you. You know, if you don't believe everything your thoughts say, you could get around the hurdles a lot faster.
Number 5, if there was one thing you can make a contribution to in the world with no limits of any kind, any contribution of any kind, charity, maybe an impact of whatever you want, what would that one thing be?
I would say I do a lot for charities. The book sales alone have already provided 500,000 meals. Wow. So we do a lot of that cool stuff. And there's so many worthy causes, but I would say, and just because the place I'm in right now is if I could give someone the ability to see that they're meant for so much more and they don't need anything else except for what's inside of them, because that's easier said. Some people are listening right now and even think as I say it, well, you had some kind of leg up, and it's not. It literally, your success depends on what goes on between your ears. And if I could give somebody a magic pill to feel that way, I would. That's why I wrote the book. But
what does happiness mean to you now that did 28 years ago?
Oh, happiness now. Happiness then would be, I would look at it as if I had money, I could solve all my problems. And happiness now is realizing that money is amazing. People who tell you money doesn't solve problems is a lie. Money, cutting checks for the problems go away. I retired my parents 20 years ago. I pay off bills. Like, money solves problems. But the byproduct is I learned to be a better human being because of it. Because when you're not worried about money, I had the ability to read books and have mentors. And so happiness to me now is living in a state of peace and being with my kids and being with my family. So, it's a great evolution, and I know it'll be different in 10 years. So, but that's where it is now.
I got to ask you, writing 6 books, or 7 books, 6 books, right?
Yeah.
When you write a book, do you write a book or do you do audio? Like, how do you write a book? What's your process?
Oh man, I wrote. I have to write them, and I get a competitive edge by I'll record if I come up with like there's some chapters in there that I just riffed on my voice memo right on my phone here for 20 minutes straight. Send it to rev.com, get it transcribed, have it come back, and I clean it up.
Wow. Wow.
This book, I'll tell you a story real quick. This book, I hired a writer to work with me.
Yeah.
And I did all of it on audio and sent him the audios. Audio, send. Yeah. And then the whole book got back and I hated it. And then I played with it for 3 months trying to tweak it. And I threw the whole damn thing away. And I wrote that book from cover to cover. I did the whole book over because it wasn't what I wanted. So yeah, for me, that's what happened. And it happens to a lot of writers too. Sometimes we think we can kind of get a leg up and go quicker, take a shortcut by hiring a great writer. And a lot of times that just doesn't work.
Well, it's funny, Dean, because this book, why I like it is because there's so many principles you can apply so quickly. I'm actually a fan of old books, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
My library is like, I have The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes.
Yeah.
Success by Napoleon Hill. A lot of these old books, like from, a long time ago. And I read your book and I'm like, I couldn't put the book down because it was just like everything you could tell you put so much thought into your book. That's what
Thank you.
Listening right now with the show right now, guys. When you check Dean's book out, you're going to notice each chapter actually allows you to apply things right now. Like every chapter has some sort of value to it. And you mentioned in the beginning, just take one thing from today's episode and apply it. But how can you not, Dean? There's freaking 30, 40 things in here.
Yeah, well, like I love all Malcolm Gladwell books. I don't know if you've read Malcolm Gladwell, but I read his books, man. I love listening to I love listening to his voice. I'm inspired, but I don't do anything different with my life after I read a Malcolm Gladwell book. I just love the book and I want to read the next one he has. And I didn't want to create that. I wanted to create something where people would enjoy reading it and then go, shit, I need to do this right now. And that's how I appreciate you saying that, but that was the whole point of the book is I want it to be like, I listened, I need to do this. Let me put it in my life and then go to the next chapter.
I love it, Dean. Dean, it has been such a pleasure, man. I love your energy.
Oh, thanks, dude.
You want to share with the audience before we kind of end our interview as far as, tell us where we can find you, where we can find your book. Obviously, I gave the link in the beginning of the bio for you.
Okay.
That's cool. A correct link, correct, where they can find the book.
Yep, absolutely.
So dean.mshbook, right? .com/better life book.
Okay. I think, that sounds like a long one, but I know we got a couple links. I think you can also find it at deansbook.com. I think that it's there too. So, but either way, man, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing and I appreciate it. I would say I would leave you with what I started with. Like, just take action on something today, something you heard from this conversation, something we shared, something you thought about, something popped up. Don't just say, I should put that in my life. No, just stop right this minute. Go send the email. Say no to someone you should have said no to. Say yes to someone else. Make a phone call. Go register the URL. Get a business card. Whatever it is, just start something today. Momentum creates momentum.
Wow, Dean, you are amazing. Before we go, to stay on the line for one more second, Dean, before we go. But guys, Dean Graziosi, what a guy. He is a powerhouse. He is a power dad. He's a guy in the investor world, all the way from success and prosperity, you name it. But Dean, we're going to work out one of these days, and I'm going to put you through workouts you can't walk for 7 days.
Dude, I'm in. I'm totally in. Challenges. I dig challenges.
I am so geared right now.
All right, dude. I'm totally in. And I appreciate your time today, man. Keep up doing this great stuff for the world. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you, Dean. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Peak Mind Show, guys. Have yourselves a great day. Share it with your friends on Facebook, guys, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Have an incredible day.